Hello and welcome back to Kaiserreich, Belgium. You may notice the date is a little different, a few things are a little different. Apparently the Kaiserreich patch that came out the day after I recorded the first two episodes did in fact break our save. So I decided to just update to the new version. I played through the first few months again and tried to make all of the same decisions, but the date is a little bit off. So our investments in Middle Africa have been seized. And in just a second, we're going to get that election event pop up again. There was a pretty spirited debate on this, but I think more supporters for the monarchy than the republic. So we are going to become a monarchy. King Albert I returns as the royalists restore the monarchy. King Albert I, formerly known as Van Saxon-Coburg-Gotha, now as Van Belgia. It's probably totally wrong. Sets sail in Canada as the first king restored to his country. Over in Belgium, all preparations are made for Albert to swiftly and without issue remount his throne. So we get Soldier King, plus 20 war support, plus 15 stability, division attack and defense on core territory, plus 10. So, I'm going to pause real quick because I forgot. Someone told me in the comments that there's a way we can basically annex the Netherlands, and I want to definitely do that. So give me 1 sec to double check on that. I should have looked it up before we started here. Alright, so, as the royalist faction of the government brings back the king, the people have voted for a prime minister who will guide Belgium into the future. Verdenasso, a national party within the Flemish Council, has played an important part in the rebellion and has great plans of expansion and a greater Dietz Empire. The KP, the largest pre-Weltkrieg party and biggest proponent of the rebellion in Flanders, is trying to re-establish their party and has placed Franz von Calvelart as their candidate. Finally, the BWP, or Belgian Workers' Party, has tried to win as much support within the worker class as possible. The party, however, is fractured and hasn't proposed a single decisive candidate, but rather 3 factions. So it sounds like the Catholic Party is the one that allows us to annex the Netherlands. So we are going to go that route, because obviously that will help us a lot. We also need to pick a new focus. So we're going to do Restoration of the Monarchy. The monarchy has enabled Belgium to prosper through the 19th century and is seen as the way forward by Belgians, especially Flemish, due to the actions of Albert I, the Soldier King. So we can bypass that. And then I think we just bypass this too. Catholic Party under Paul van Zeeland takes control. And meanwhile, we do not have a field marshal, nor do we have enough. Oh wait, we do. Leopold III, is he the heir? That's kind of cool, but we can put Albert in charge. He's a war hero, politically connected, and old guard. I like it. Fantastic. Still short on a few resources, but that should be okay. Our stability has gone up significantly, which means we should be able to build factories a lot faster, especially if we get the Dutch factories on our side. Very low party popularity. Okay, as the largest Belgian party and controller of the government from 1884 to 1921, it was the obvious choice to pick KP to rebuild the country. Fresh head of the party, Franz von Calvelart, has been tasked with forming the government and will hopefully guide us to a better Belgium. Alright, so Naive Optimist, he gives us minus political power gain, but plus civilian construction speed, minus military construction speed. We get Call Ally Desire plus 10. Same ideology, opinion, cool. Improve relations goes down a little bit. Military Entrepreneur, focus on war production, plus 50 military factory construction speed. Let's see. Or plus 11%. military construction speed. Okay. So we got some good ministers. And our party popularity is now at 86%, so we should actually be gaining political power per day instead of losing it. Concentrated industry is done. Let's see. We can't get the next computing machine yet. Trying to avoid being over on anything. Suppose we could research better tanks. Actually, better artillery. Yeah, we're ahead of time on that. But that's anti-tank. We can get better artillery. Let's do it. Alright. Where is that? Somebody said we definitely need to do the foreign policy thing that gives us someone to protect us against Germany. Here we go. Okay, so foreign policy. So we can do deterrence, deter foreign attacks by reinforcing our borders, guarantee from the Entente, guarantee from the German Empire, guarantee from the Internationale, neutrality, distance ourselves as much as possible from foreign conflicts. Well, obviously we're not going to do that in a YouTube series. That would be boring. Or place in the world stage, step out of the shadows and ensure a strong place on the international playing field so we can get ties to the Commonwealth and join the Entente. Improve relations with the Dutch, which that might become irrelevant if we just confederate with them. Help the syndicalists, we can join the Internationale. But that requires us to have a socialist government. So I think we'll probably go the deterrence route. Recruitable population. We definitely want to go all this quickly, but I want to make sure that we have some allies first. Having no allies is a bad thing. I believe it was Bismarck that said that. Charles Curtis was elected president of the USA. I thought they removed Charles Curtis from the game. Did they bring him back? I just remember there was a lot of talk on the subreddit about justice for Charles Curtis. All right, well, let's see if he can prevent the Civil War. Let's see what happens. So let's see here. Elections in Italy, Prime Minister Bonomi remaining as Prime Minister. His gamble to call the elections early due to the Black Monday crisis has proven to be rather successful. So good for him. Alright, we have finished our first factory. We're just going to keep chugging along until we can max out our industry. Make sure we're not trading anything we don't need to be trading for. We are trading for some tungsten. We should maybe cancel that trade. What kind of a deficit does that put us at? Yeah, -2 I can live with. That I'm not so worried about. So currently we are fully equipped in everything except support equipment and light tank destroyers. We have a good stockpile of infantry equipment. We have an okay stockpile of anti-tank and artillery guns. No army experience to speak of, just because I would rather get these guys fully equipped before I start bleeding equipment training them. Let's see here. Industry, we're still a tad bit ahead of time on. Let's grab the radio. Reinforce rate is always good to have. And we now have enough manpower to train some divisions. We'll keep these just in case, but yeah, for the most part, we're just going to be training bike divisions. Flandern, assign them to this army, and we want reinforcements are first priority, then upgrades, and then new divisions. We want everybody to have a gun, and we want everyone to have the best gun available, and then we want to expand our forces. That's our order of operations here. Soon we might be able to recruit some ministers. How crazy is that? I'm actually really glad we restarted, because my favorite part so far of the 0.7 patch for Kaiserreich is that they've integrated their weird, like, functional but kind of janky stability system and are now just using Paradox's stability system, which I think is definitely the right way to go. Okay, so, you know what, since we're monarchist, maybe we can get a guarantee from the German Empire. Let's see if we can do that. Because I think it would make more sense RP-wise for us to go against the Internationale in this war. Belgium has seen enough fighting. We will try to deter foreign attacks by reinforcing our borders and foremost establishing good relations with the major powers. If we can, I would like to improve our relations with the Germans, but we don't have enough political power for that. They don't like that we kicked their boy out. Their Hohenzollern boy. They were big fans of that BOI. Let's see, get rid of that. Let's get him a preparation bonus. Haiti declared war on the Dominican Republic. What is this, Victoria 2? Very common thing to happen in Victoria 2, if you guys didn't know that. Oh! Huey Long has started a war. Alright. So Curtis failed, apparently. Let's see if they bring in old MacArthur. I'm sure you tried. Yeah, the toughest part about playing the Feds, as you might have seen in our previous series if you watched it, is you have to abandon this whole pocket and then just create a front in the Midwest. To those not in the know, it might seem like the crisis in the United States came out of nowhere, but experts agree that this was a civil war years in the making. Since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1925, the economy of the United States has been sluggish and mired in deep recession. Now the United States has collapsed into an all-out civil war between the supporters of the federal government and the combined syndicates of America and the right-wing American Union State. Volunteers are pouring in from around the world to support one faction or another, with some characterizing the bitter ideological conflict as simply part of a wider global clash of ideals. Well, I guess it would be best for us if Huey wins, since we did go monarchist. Let's see what happens with New England. Okay, the Pacific States seceded. Not sure if Canada's going to decide to protect New England. Oh, and the Pacific States declared war right away, too. So we got this to keep us entertained. There we go. New England has been formed. If the Feds get cut off before they can escape, they're probably fucked. Okay, they made a pocket. Yeah, we're going to try to get a guarantee from the German Empire. If the German Empire accepts our proposal, we'll be forced to pay monetary reparations. The only way we'll ensure that the Kaiser doesn't take revenge for our independence wars is by making sure that they guarantee our independence. They are, however, not very inclined to assist us and will demand steep reparations. Well, let's see. Let's see how this goes. Oh, we have Washington cut off. I'm not sure how many troops they're going to lose there. Hopefully if they say no, we can go down one of the other guarantee trees. Yeah, Feds are getting surrounded left and right here. Don't think Curtis is going to win this one. Especially, well, they passed, they're on the outskirts of Sacramento pretty quick. Republic declared in Serbia. Since the end of the Austrian occupation during the 1920s, Serbia has officially been a kingdom. They never dared to crown a king, as they were forced to keep a low profile in the light of further Austrian aggression. Bowing to mounting international pressure against his repressive regime, Peter Bojovic, the regent of Serbia for almost 2 decades, has voluntarily stepped down. Slobodan Jovanovic, is it Vic or Vich in Serbian? I think it's probably Vich, because I think they do usually have the little diacritic on there, but I could be wrong. Is now the first president of the Serbian Republic, acting as such until elections can be held. I lived actually next to a Croatian kid named Slobodan when I was in high school. He was our next door neighbor. They make really good food. If you ever go to like a function at a Serbian Orthodox church, they will have some good stuff for you. Let's see. The Socialist Republic of the Philippines has declared war on German East Asia. Fall of Washington. It looks like Reed got there first. Syndicate militias have advanced towards the captured symbolic capital of the United States, Washington, D.C., stormed the Capitol building and met strong resistance, but eventually they broke through, and the flag of the Combined Syndicates of America now flies over the U.S. Capitol. Rumors are that syndicate militias have been rounding up all political representatives they could find in the city to give them trial, although unconfirmed sources claim that most important government figures have been evacuated during the battle, with their current whereabouts unknown. Interesting indeed. Interwar artillery. I think we can... No, we can't get the next computers yet. We can get the next level of construction, though. Our proposal to join the faction has been accepted. The final papers have been signed. The embassy and a toast has been proposed on a long and fruitful cooperation. Okay, so we got our guarantee from the German Empire. We are not in danger of attack from this side. So I guess we can fortify the west wall. What did they impose on us? Reparations to the German Empire. Ooh, consumer goods factories, 20%. That is going to be punishing. But we'll deal with it for now, because I don't think we would survive to 1940 if we hadn't done that, honestly. So, is it a focus we have to take that confederates us with the Dutch? Like, did I already fuck that up by not going down this path? I guess we'll find out. With no threat of a German invasion, we focus our resources on securing the French border to deter their attack. Alright, so I think we should probably take all of our armies over here for now. And we'll create a battle plan to strike at Lille if we need to. Not too worried about the Dutch right now. Are they in a faction? Social Conservatives, no faction. Queen Wilhelmina. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably just end up invading them if they remain neutral, so... see how it goes. I think they're probably stronger than us right now. Intel says 13 to 20 divisions. So yeah, we would either need help from the Germans or we need to build up our strength. We're going to be positive on political power, guys. Alright, back to the American Civil War. Looks like there's a pocket around Louisville. If I were leading the syndicalist forces right now, yeah, I would try to cut this off. Cross the river here, then take Kansas City. Don't try to attack Kansas City across the river. I used to live right in this province right here, so I know this area pretty well. Yeah, you would definitely want to cross the river north of the city center and then come in from the east. Looks like they got a pocket of their own chopped off there. Honestly, would not worry too much about this yet. Like, I would say maybe hold the line at the North Dakota border, and then, you know, focus on taking like Omaha, Des Moines, Kansas City, and eventually Denver before I'd even worry about the upper Midwest too much. Huey's made it all the way into New Mexico, though, and he's about to take San Antonio and claim Texas. So I don't know. I think if I were a betting man, the feds are like up here fighting in the Northwest, about to get cut off if they lose Spokane. If I were a betting man, I think I would actually bet on Huey right now, especially if he makes it to Denver first. Yeah, if he can secure Denver and Phoenix without losing... Did he take Kansas City? Yeah, he took Kansas City. Yeah, if he can hang on to all of the city centers in this area. Second International. Yeah, I think I would bet on the AUS at this point. Just some really weird battlefronts going on, though. None of these guys are really playing intelligently. What I would consider to be intelligently. Oh man, they just lost. Louisville got surrounded. That could be bad for the AUS here. Let's see. We no longer get the effect. Oh, so reparations expire. That's really good, actually. Syndicalist revolutionaries in Switzerland. Chaotic reports are coming in from small mountain republic of Switzerland stating that syndicalist revolutionaries have seized the western regions of the Romandy and occupied Haute-Savoie following a Swiss military crackdown in the region. Supporting the successful Swiss revolutionaries, French troops have quickly moved in to occupy the region, and the Swiss military has held a defensive posture. Unwilling to advance into the French guns, it seems that the speed of the revolutionary action has caught the Swiss government off guard, and they are unwilling to escalate the violence into a full war with France. It remains to be seen what the Swiss will do next. One thing I never did is I never looked at the decisions available to us. Legislate freedoms. Gives us weekly stability, political power costs, consumer goods. Okay, economic policy. When Black Monday expires, we can give up a civilian factory for a year to get base stability. We can nationalize this union, which gives us an off-map civilian factory. We can give up a civilian factory for 70 days to get 6 more steel in Wallonia. We can get off-map civilian factory and 360 days, 6 more steel in Flanders. So there's a lot of ways to get more steel. And this will just give us synthetic resources. World's Fair Liège, 1939. Okay. Flemish Wallonian Engineering has achieved... Let's read all of this. I love this flavor text stuff. Well, the golden age of Tirpitz seems to no end. Our economy has started to slow down drastically after the coal mines of Wallonia began nearing the end of their reserves, prompting large parts of the steel industry to depend on government backing. While this system works for now and keeps syndicalism at bay in the Sillon Industriel, reforms will need to be undertaken if we wish to prevent collapse due to economic recession. Flemish Wallonian Engineering has achieved world fame in the fields of electricity and the chemical industry. As a further boon to their prowess, however, the government has been able to secure the 1939 World's Fair to show off the pride of the nation's engineering. We'll probably end up calling it the Albert Canal, because Adalbert got kicked out on his ass. Called the International Ausstellung für Wassertechnologie, Flemish Wallonian companies will show off their achievements in the field of waterworks. So that gives us some really good stuff. We just need to make sure we have 25 political power ready before... Or it just has to be within the year of 1938, I guess. So we have to prepare for it a year early. Oh, here we go. Policy towards the Netherlands. This is what I've been looking for. While they do not present the strongest ally in these trying times, cooperation between Belgium and the Netherlands will be vital if we both want to prosper and wear off foreign attacks. Through economic reforms and a common military policy, we will present a strong block to the outside world from the rising tensions in Europe. So this might be how we get confederation. Strive for closer association to build a brighter future. We can found this academy. Yeah, I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments if I already lost the ability to confederate with them. In which case, we're not going to be friends. We're just going to conquer their asses. Okay. So we have the might of our factories back on our side. Which is good. And, yeah, Fall of Denver, there we go. Oh, the Syndicate's got it? Holy crap. The Cindy's blitzed Denver while we weren't looking. Syndicate militias have been fighting sparse skirmishes with the federal government across the Great Plains. Today their efforts culminated as they finally descended on the city of Denver after a large-scale assault across the South Platte Valley. Denver being the capital of Colorado and the main federal stronghold of the Great Plains. The fall of the Queen City of the Plains indeed seems to be a major upset for the future of the United States. And as fighting dies down in the South Platte Valley, many experts agree the federal government is now almost certain to capitulate to the syndicates. CNT-FAI declared war on the Carlists. Spanish Civil War has kicked off, so... Syndicalists still hold Washington just barely. And I don't think... Are they at war with the, Non-Aggression Pact with the CSA and the AUS. So the Pacific states are out of the line of fire for now. So that changes things a lot. I think Reed is actually in a much better position now. He is about to get this pocket cut off, though. He needs to push hard. He needs to push hard from eastern Tennessee. He needs to push to this river, and then he needs to swoop down on Nashville from the north to secure this pocket so it doesn't get cut off. Then I would probably swoop up around this way to St. Louis, Springfield, and Kansas City. Try to lock all of that down as quickly as possible. Tulsa should be attainable. Once you have that area under control, you could probably think about pushing across the river into Little Rock. Foundation of the Belgrade Pact. Serbia, Romania, and Greece, the three Balkan members of the Entente, all with revanchist views of their own, have recently gathered a common table of negotiations and have announced the beginning of the Belgrade Pact. While this pact puts a lot of focus on cultural distinction and preserving the Balkan identities, it is also a military alliance between the participants, seemingly directed at the countries separating them from holding their ancestral lands. This new development is a big thorn in the Bulgarian domination of the Balkans, but only the incoming reaction of other Central Powers can determine whether it will yield any fruit. Looks like we have a research slot free. Keep beefing up our industry. We have finished fortifying the west wall, which is good. Okay, so... don't need to worry about foreign policy anymore right now. So I think... let's see, this gives us a building slot in a civilian factory. This gives us a building slot in a civilian factory. So let's finish this real quick. Abyssinia declared war on Eritrea. Okay, there we go. See, he's pushing up towards St. Louis. Well done. The pocket is not in nearly as much danger. It looks like it's collapsing a little bit, but at least they're not going to get a bunch of units cut off. That's much more of an orderly retreat than if they had just sliced through the salient right there. If they can continue to hold Washington, that puts them in a pretty good position, because that means that Huey's expending a lot of resources trying to take Washington, and he has not been successful. So he's taken a lot of losses. South America is completely erupting into war. Let's see. Cindy's hold Phoenix. Now this is almost like First American Civil War borders here. Almost. Fourth Balkan War. A country was reborn in the Balkans after the Weltkrieg, Greater Bulgaria. The Titan on the peninsula, uniting all Bulgarian lands and beyond. This kingdom for all Bulgarians was born with bloodshed and war, though, defeating Serbia, Greece, and Romania in the Weltkrieg, a move that these three nations are still bitter about today. This tension led to the formation of the Belgrade Pact, and this alliance of Balkan states has now declared war on the Tsardom, throwing the region into conflict yet again. By the way, it looks like the Kingdom of Spain is winning the Civil War. Let's see. Will Tsar Boris III save his nation from this overwhelming force, or will his kingdom be divided once more? I'm not even paying attention. Oh wait, are they in our faction? Yeah, no, Bulgaria is not in our faction. Actually, we're not even in the Reichspakt anymore. So, maybe we just don't need to worry about it. Fall of Burgos. Carlist's temporary capital has been captured. The Carlists never win. I've never seen the Carlists win. This is a fascinating war to watch here. I don't think either side has a definitive upper hand. In the long run, I'm pretty sure that the Syndicalists will win it if they hold the territory they do now, because they hold much more productive territory than the AUS does at the moment. But we will see. Okay. We're up to snuff on most of that stuff. Up to snuff on that. Researching doctrines. Let's get some T-15s. We don't have the military factories to build them yet, but we want to... If our army is going to be entirely made of bikes and tank destroyers, we want to make sure they're the best tank destroyers we can get. Oh wow, the AUS came through the peninsula here and took Baltimore. That would be hellish. Having an urban war taking place with one side holding Washington, the other side holding Baltimore. At least in the modern day, it would be hellish. I don't know if maybe that area was, significantly less developed at that point. Cindy's are holding strong in St. Louis. The AI just needs to be... They need to understand how to use rivers a little bit better, I think. I see a lot of pushes where they're not really using the terrain to their best advantage, or at least that's what it seems like to me from somebody who has no ability to look at the code. Baltimore keeps flipping back and forth. They're on the outskirts of Philadelphia. They're playing. This is actually kind of smart. This is probably similar to how I would play this scenario. Is like, let's see if Washington is not going to fall. Let's make a foothold at Baltimore. Let's try to take Philadelphia, New York City. Seize all of that. Maybe even try to cross to Pittsburgh. And then kind of loop in on Washington. That's probably what I would try to be doing here. Armchair generaling for the AI, as always. What decision do we have available? Improve relations with the Netherlands. Yeah, let's do it. Let's improve relations with the Nords. If I've already screwed up my ability to confederate with them, I apologize, because I was trying to go down that path, but I might have messed it up. Might have done messed it up. Oh, DC has fallen. DC has fallen to the AUS. They finally broke through. At the same time, the push down the Missouri-Mississippi rivers here is seems to be very successful at the moment. They do have, they did push a little too fast though, because it looks like we have a bit of a pocket going on. Let's see if they can relieve their forces. For purposes of this campaign, of course, I'm kind of hoping the AUS wins, but at heart I will always root for the Syndicalists. You guys should know that by now. Oh wow, yep, they lost, they had some troops overrun. They pushed too greedily and too deep. Yeah, I would not want to touch this urban fighting between Baltimore and Washington with a 10,000-foot pole. Following the overwhelming loss in the Balkan War against the Belgrade Pact, issue of selecting a new government was a hot debate within Bulgaria. As it stood, the Bulgarian people themselves had three candidates who would lead the nation: the Liberal Radical Democrat and Broad Socialist parties, and the conservative Bulgarian Agrarian National Union, led by Alexander Stambolijski. If that's an LI, it's really confusing my dyslexia right now. In the end, it seems as though the RDP were effectively able to seize power and cement their reign of Bulgaria. So they're socialists now? Oh no, they're market liberals. Okay. So yeah, looks like a fair bit of territory changed hands here. Yeah, this could really go either way. I think actually the smart move for the Syndicalists right now might be a push across the Great Plains. See if you can secure Dallas, and then for there, straight down to the coast to Houston. Cut off this whole pocket here. Close that off. I wouldn't be pushing towards the deep south yet. I would want to get this front kind of dealt with over here. Alright, we got some improved machine tools. We can probably... No, we can't quite... We're still a little bit ahead of time on better computers. Not really concerned about equipment conversion. A little bit ahead of time on equipment here. What does our division template look like right now? So we have field hospitals in there somehow. Even though we haven't researched them yet. So I guess we'll do that, so that we can eventually get better field hospitals. Cindy's took back Washington. They also took Norfolk, but that pocket is now surrounded. Well, it's not totally surrounded, because they do have a path of retreat across the strait here. I'm not sure who's navally dominant. Paul declared war. Dominion of India declared war. Yeah, see, they're getting really aggressive in a spot that I would not necessarily be getting so aggressive in. Surveying steel mills, cool. War bonds. Oh yeah, we can take war bonds now. Let's do it. With Tensions rising in Europe, the government has created a war bond program to gather required cash and resources for a rapid mobilization. Make as much use of the industry we have. I guess we can just keep improving relations with the Netherlands. Is that how that works? What do they think of us now? They're Social Democrats, that's cool. Provisional Revolutionary Committee. So apparently they had a revolution. Be interesting to see what kind of assembly they elect. Go for about another 20 minutes here, it looks like we should have time for. Okay, they made it across the Rockies. This is definitely not how I would have played that. I would have tried to pin them in at the Rockies, come down through the plains again into Texas, and then smush them, because I hike in the Rockies all the time, and let me just tell you, it's one of the last places I would want to try to fight a large-scale war. Iran declared war on the Ottomans. Washington has changed hands again. I think the syndicalists are going to grind it out. Yeah, I mean, the Western Front is starting to collapse. Shriek declared war on the Ottomans. This thing they're doing, I just don't think is strategically wise. Yeah, see, they're just gonna they're gonna keep getting surrounded. They're gonna keep losing divisions. If they keep doing that, they might lose. Oh, well, they created an escape path right at the 11th hour. Not for these guys, though. Yeah, they gotta close this off quick, because that's taking a disproportionate amount of their resources, for sure. Shrieky Kingdom has capitulated. So we got all-out war in West Asia over here. The Indo-Chinese Union was annexed. That's good for us monarchists. Mongolia is getting pounded right. Oh, did they win their war, by the way? Are they still at war? Yeah, they must have, yeah. They have the Uyghurs as puppets. Tibet is in their faction. So yeah, they've... Old Sternberg has done pretty well for himself, it looks like. Alright, so let's see what these do. Expanding the Westerschelde, we lose 2 civilian factories for a year, and we gain flourishing trade. This gives us a civilian factory. Let's see. This, I think, creates a tech sharing thing. Let's get this, the one that gives us a factory, real quick. So we're industrially cooperating with the Netherlands for now. Last Stand Act. Plus 30,000 manpower would certainly be useful. 2 military factories is even better. To provide in the rising needs of our military, we need to invest in the small arms manufacturer FN. Make some very good guns in our timeline. Or at least has historically. I don't know nearly as much about their newer stuff. Sure, we have a couple, like, really, like, hardware geek kind of military historians in our audience, so I'm sure that the comments can provide some additional insights into a lot of this stuff, which is one of my favorite things about doing these series. Okay, so we have a new tank model ready, so we need to upgrade it to a tank destroyer. For when the day comes that we actually can start cranking out tank destroyers again. United Provinces has declared war on Central America, again, very unsurprisingly. They are currently under authoritarian democracy. And it looks like they are going to win. Which is, again, good for our faction, bad for my heart. Jeez, they need to just collapse this pocket. It's like, oh, and look what happened. Look what happened because they didn't listen. Yeah, this could still go either way. It really could. Like, the inability of the syndicalists to really decisively hold the Northeast. The amount of times Washington has changed hands. Like, I don't think it should really be the capital anymore in this timeline, because it's probably just going to be bombed to shit. The Hellenic Socialist Republic? That's a thing? I love it. Alright. Again, at heart I am rooting for you in terms of our success in this campaign. I hope you die. I hope you die. Alright. Any major cities? Let's see. Little Rock is currently in syndicalist hands. Iron Guard Romania has capitulated. To whom, I'm not sure. Hungary, I guess. Okay, the Hellenic Socialist Republic was not long-lived. It was more of a civil disturbance than anything. It was a moderately successful riot. Monarchy restored in Greece. After weeks of deliberation, the Greek government has decided to return the crown to King Alexandros I, who was exiled in 1923 following the establishment of the Third Republic. While many consider Alexandros unpopular due to the part he played in the surrendering of the economy to Germany and Austria following the First Weltkrieg, it was felt he was still the most legitimate ruler. The king spoke to a massive cheering crowd in Athens after returning for the first time in many years, saying that Greece had finally returned to the path it was meant to be on and vowed to work with the country's leaders to forge a positive future. Interesting that people are cheering in Athens about the downfall of a republic and reestablishment of a monarchy, but hey, who am I to judge? Let's get some computing machines. Let's start building more of our updated tank destroyers. Might have to start doing some trade deals soon, although our flourishing trade with the Netherlands will certainly help. Serbian Republic is currently at war with this entire alliance. It's just one damn fool thing in the Balkans after another. Look at that! I said I never see the Carlists win, but the Carlists are kind of making a comeback here. Alright. More military factories, just what we need. So, we can gain a military slot at a factory in Flanders. Okay, let's see. So, specializing in civilian transport like buses and trains with the right funds and support from our government, we can further expand the military trucking capabilities. Or our luxury automobile producer has shown the desire to receive the truck building contract from our government and would definitely be able to meet our demands though the costs may be high. I think we're going to choose Minerva because we're going to have basically a boutique army, so we probably want to go with having nicer trucks over having a lot of trucks. Let's see, our training is still stalled because we're still reinforcing divisions. What are we missing here? All support equipment for the most part. So, we are going to beef up our production of support equipment if we can. We're now at a 5-3 deficit, so we're going to trade. We're going to trade for tungsten. And we're also going to trade for some oil. We'll trade with the Pacific states because there's less chance that they're going to completely lose their shit and die. Alright, well they made it. The Sindhis made it to the Gulf and they seized Mobil and Biloxi, so I don't know. I guess their strategy was a little bit more successful than I was anticipating it would be. The Second Weltkrieg! The Weltkrieg claimed the lives of countless young men from all over the world in a conflict on an industrial scale, but it appears that even the nightmare could not deter man's lust for blood. After over 20 years of proxy warfare, diplomatic pressure, and political squabbles, the uneasy peace between Germany and France has broken down. These two great powers are now mobilizing their armies in preparation for a war the likes of which the world has never seen. You guns. That's probably a typo. Probably should say now guns, planes, ships, tanks, deadlier weapons still will see their first use on the battlefield as open warfare begins once more in Europe. For the Germans and the French now there could be only one end, victory or destruction. Let's see if we can send some volunteers to Germany. They don't want military access. We could send an attaché. Can't join their faction. Where is the send volunteers? Send volunteers, there we go. We need to have at least 30 divisions to be able to send volunteers. We can probably change that with focuses, I'm assuming. Independent forces. Max planning. Strength first doctrine. Volunteer only with limited conscription. There's probably something down here. Distribute bicycles, that's what we need. Bicycle army. Support equipment cost -5. I don't know. We'll see. We'll go ahead and send an attaché to Germany. They won't accept. Well, fuck you guys. Can we send an attaché to France? Nope. They don't like us either. Yemen has capitulated. Let's see, we don't have a template for towed artillery, do we? Huh. Well, who else? Is there someone else in Middle Europa who would let us send them an attaché? Maybe like the Ukrainians? Okay, they would accept. So yeah, let's send a military attaché to the Ukraine. And that'll at least start earning us some army experience. Hopefully they get into some fights that will help us. Oh, by the way, I think we can get a new trait for Adalbert here. We're going to go with charismatic. We're also going to get plus reinforcement rate. And Piavon. Guerrilla fighter. Improvisation expert. Yeah, we do eventually want this because it makes our bikes go faster, but let's go ahead and give them the guerrilla fighter trait since it's available to us. And entrenchment might become important if France decides to try to spread the revolution to us, so. Yeah, Sindhis are going to win. At this point, I'd be willing to call the match. If I were the ref, I think I would stop it here. They've got Washington almost surrounded. They've conquered down through the Tidewaters. Seized a lot of the important coastal assets. Let's see here. Industry tech, we're pretty good. We're looking pretty good on that. Not going to focus on airplanes yet. 0.75 ahead of time there. 2.75 there. Let's see. Let's get support weapons. Also, that World Fair decision should be available, right? Does not have Black Monday. Oh, okay. So we need to get rid of Black Monday quickly. Improve working conditions. Oh, here we go. Federation, Confederation. How did I not read through that? Space stability. How do we get rid of Black Monday, though? Create the economic regions. Oh, wait. Did we need to choose... Unite the Catholic parties. It's probably somewhere down here is how we federate. Let's see. Decentralize the government. Okay, so we're going to go towards federation, and then hopefully that'll give us the event for the Netherlands. I wish I had noticed that sooner, but... Hey, we're kind of just eyeballing everything here. Yeah, you see, you gotta stop getting cut off. You gotta stop getting encircled. It's a bad look. Okay, they took Springfield. If they can unite the front, okay. Springfield and Tulsa. They've still never fully conquered Arizona. This one little corner of Arizona has confounded American militaries for quite a long time. This is around the place where the last, Apaches were hiding in even into the 1900s. Yeah, so somebody in the comments, please tell me how I get rid of Black Monday so we can actually have the World's Fair, because that'd be a bummer to miss out on that. That is one cool thing about Kaiserreich that I don't think is necessarily the case with vanilla Hoi 4. Is that, it can be fun to, keep playing the same nations over and over again because you learn new stuff about, what's available to them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this is now officially a pocket, but, okay, not anymore, but I was going to say, as long as they're getting reinforced from Charlotte and control the ocean, you should be okay. But yeah, the AUS is just completely disintegrating. They still hold Washington, which is a pretty big deal. They'll probably capitulate after they lose Washington and Atlanta. I think we're going to focus on support units over artillery. Decision available. Let's see, I want to make sure I keep 25 political power free. So we're going to found the Konin Klika Academy here. Oh no, we'll wait on that one. That's not super high priority. Funny if Atlanta falls before they take back Washington. Yeah, this is just a mess on the Great Plains here. These officers clearly didn't understand how to fight on this kind of terrain. Yeah, cleaning up. Fall of Atlanta. Syndicate militias have been pushing towards the American Union State's temporary capital of Atlanta for a while now. Reports are now coming in of the city's imminent capture by advancing militias. Huey Long's current whereabouts are unknown, but it's believed he was rapidly evacuated to the countryside. Disturbing news reports that Union representative and Minutemen are being lynched by mobs in the street, and that the city has been thoroughly sacked, with fires spreading through the downtown areas. Is this the end of the reactionary uprising in America? Okay, so I am not going to go any further down any focus trees right now because I'm actually going to end the episode here because I want you guys to let me know in the comments how do I get rid of Black Monday so that we can finish that World's Fair focus before the window passes and we never get to do it. So, that's going to be the end of this episode. The AUS is on the brink of collapse, though, so they still hold Washington. Looks like the Reichspakt is cleaning up in the Baltic. And the Austrian Empire seems to be winning the Balkan War at the moment. Or their alliance does. Not a whole lot of movement on the German and French front here. Actually, may not really be any at all. But they are at war. Can we see the status of that war real quick? Current war, Second Weltkrieg is in a status quo. Napoleonic War for Independence. The Serbian-Galician War is going in favor of the aggressors. Haitian-Dominican War is at a standstill. United Provinces. Oh wow, Central America is seriously fighting back. They might actually win. North America might go full Cindy. Baltic-Latvian War, not much has happened yet. And Spanish Civil War is still not really decisive in favor of anyone yet. So check out Loresworn.com. That's our website. We are at Loresworn Order on Twitter. I am at AsaTJ. That is ASATJ. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon thingy. And we will see you next time.